That's your boy Freelancer here today. So today the rapper we're going to be talking about is Tupac Shakur, one of the best rappers of all time in my opinion, one of the most important rappers of all time in my opinion, and a rapper that most people should know really. I mean, he's sold over like, I think 17 million records worldwide at this point. So yeah, so the guy is definitely one of the more like prolific rappers of all time, and I wanted to do this video primarily because today is the day that 24 years ago he sadly passed away. Right, so I just wanted to commemorate him, to show appreciation to him and go over what I love about the guy's music and what I love about him in general. One of the things that I feel like that resonates with most people is just how real he is. Like when he says the things he says it with such conviction that he literally has like a million songs. Literally guys like obviously Ja Rule. I mean DMX to two degrees definitely heavily influenced by Tupac Shakur. And you can definitely tell that this guy is just so like straight from the gutter, like he raps with like 110% conviction in like every single one of his songs, especially on his best material, which I'll get into in a bit. Now, when I got into Tupac, I think it was around 2015, 2016. I was really late on Tupac, obviously. You know, he passed away when I was one, and I really not from a household that really plays hip hop like that, so I didn't really resonate with him until I really sat down and went through his catalog. Because again, like people rate songs really highly, or songs that I heard from him were songs like California Love, the single version, and a couple other things as well, like Changes, and that's really about it. Maybe Dear Mama, but those were the only songs that I really knew from the guy, you know, when I wasn't a hip hop fan, right? So when I really got into hip hop, it took a minute for me to really click with him, because he's obviously radically different from a lot of the East Coast rappers I was listening to, and a lot of the other rappers I was listening to as well, because he wasn't as lyrical or whatever. Like I was obsessed with like, you know, how many rhymes the guy could do, and not how good the music was, right? And that was definitely on my bad. So when I really got into hip hop for the music and for, you know, the vocal delivery, stuff like that, Tupac went way up on my list, right? You know what I mean? Yeah, so with his catalog, it's kind of interesting because you definitely can see clear progression. I think obviously Snoop Doggy Style definitely changed a lot for West Coast hip hop, and you can definitely tell he was influenced by or he picked production more similar to what Snoop Dogg was doing at that time. I'm not saying he was copying him, I'm just saying he kind of worked in more of that G-Funk kind of aesthetic from like Me Against the World, or even from like Thug Life Volume 1 through to All Eyes on Me, right? Now, his first album, I actually think it's a really good album. You know, there's some really good songs in it for sure. Obviously, like Young Black Male, like Trapped, like Violence, pretty good. Brenda's Got Baby, I think it's a good song. Maybe not huge in the chorus, but I feel like it's a really important song for hip hop. I also really love songs like I Don't Obviously Give a Fuck, that's a great song. And there's a bunch of other like really good songs on the album. I think the album's pretty good. If I had to give it a rating, probably be like an A- or an B plus, A- around that rating. And then obviously his sophomore album, can't say the title for obvious reasons, or not going to, because I just don't want to be disrespectful like that. But Holler If You Hear Me is a great song. I Get Around's a great song. There are a couple of good songs on it for sure, but it's just not. It's probably my least favorite album he did within his lifetime. His second album, in my opinion. The self-titled song's great as well, but it's still a good album though. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just saying it's probably not my favorite. Thug Life Volume 1, you know, Pour Out a Little Liquor, Bury Me a G, I think it's what's one? Stay True, that's the other one that I really think are really great songs, right? And that was a pretty good project. I think it was originally just going to be a Tupac album, but he had all the court case issues and things like that pressured him able to make it a collaborative project. And yeah, so it was a good project for sure. But Me Against the World, to me, is the first project that really elevates him into like that upper echelon of rappers, right? Because before then, he was really good, but he was like teetering like top 50, 40 range, if I was basing it off his first two albums and Thug Life Volume 1. But Me Against the World really puts him in that upper echelon of rappers, in my opinion. Yeah, and that whole thing really is great. You know, Death Around the Corner, like the way he starts that third verse, you know, like, you know, drinking liquor out my mother's titty and shit like that. It's just insane. Like, I love that song. That song's brilliant. There's so many great songs in it. So many Tears, It Ain't Easy, Lord Knows. Like, the whole project, Dear Mama, the whole project is pretty much great, or at least like 3/4 of the project is great, in my opinion. And then obviously he had All Eyes on Me. 2 discs. In my opinion, I think there's like an A+ album between the 2 discs, definitely. Like if you cut out, let's say, about or 5 songs or so, it would definitely be an A+ album. But to me, it gets an A. Just because there's about 5 songs out of 30, which I'm like, they're cool, but they're not as great as the rest of the album. But that's really like 19 songs on there are like straight A+ songs to me. And No More Pain alone is just like mental. That beat is just insane. That's one of the best hip-hop beats of all time, in my opinion, and he just absolutely killed it. My adversaries cry like hoes, fully eradicate my foes. Like, that shit is just genius, absolutely fantastic. I mean, the whole shit is just brilliant. Like, What's Your Phone Number? That song fucked me up. In fact, so did No More Pain. When I first heard it, I was like, what? But when I clicked with it, I was like, oh, this song is fucking genius. Right? I love that whole thing, man. Hearts of Men, Two American Most Wanted with Snoop Dogg. Man, that whole thing, the album version of California Love is brilliant. Like, the whole thing is just great. And I wholeheartedly disagree with this notion that he's overrated, because when you really go through his catalogue, and obviously with Cool Illuminati with Hail Mary, brilliant song, a couple of brilliant songs on there as well. But when you really go through his catalogue, it really establishes him as a top 10 rapper, because he has like so many great songs. He has like 40, in my opinion, to 50 fantastic songs, in my opinion. And that really puts him in that upper echelon, because like he did all this in like 5-6 years, and he had like posthumous album every year for like 10-15 years. You know what I mean? Which is insane to think about. Yeah, so Tupac, yeah, I want to give some real appreciation to the guy's music, man. The guy's music was great. I mean, he did some antics like, joining the Crips and, stuff like that in real life, which were very questionable. He definitely did some questionable things in his personal life, and obviously horrible things happened to him, when he got shot twice, shot up twice. Yeah, but massive respect to Tupac though as an artist, and he's one of the best rappers of all time, easily top 5 to me personally. Probably, I'll say top 5 to me personally. And if he lived longer, he probably would have been number 1. So there you go. That's what I think about Tupac. Like this video if you like this video, dislike it if you don't. Let me know what you think below in the comment section. About what you think about Tupac. See you in a bit. Peace.